I remember having this write with this guy, and I was in a relationship at the time. I wanted to like write like this love song. I had like this great idea. And then he comes storming through the door and he's like, oh, my freaking girlfriend, this and this, she just dropped me off. And he was just like totally pissed off and sits down. He's like, well, what do you want to write? And I'm like, I guess we're not writing a love song today. So it's like, but it's just like those moments early on were always like, to me, always so funny and just like trying to figure out how Nashville navigated. So.
Hi, I'm Ben Earl, and this is Country Roads, the podcast where we learn more about our favorite country artists through the places that have made them who they are today. Because there's few genres that have quite as much emphasis on place as country does. Whether it's the small hometowns or the big cities, the family farms, the dive bars, the high mountain passes, or simply just the wide open spaces, the settings for country songs are a distinctive part of what makes country music country. Because everywhere we go in this world becomes a part of who we are, and it all leaves its mark on the music. So, which places have inspired the best songwriters in the business? What are the stories behind the songs? This is where together we find out. This is Country Roads. Now, Canadian hitmaker Josh Ross is my guest this week, and I was delighted we could catch him whilst he was over here in the UK, because it was literally a flying visit this time. But I know he's definitely going to be back. He's played some big shows, and he's definitely coming back. He's already toured with huge acts like Luke Bryan, Bailey Zimmerman, and Jelly Roll, and he recently became the first Canadian man to have a #1 on the American country charts in 30 years. And this is absolutely incredible. His music has already been streamed over 1 billion times. His album Later Tonight is a punchy debut. He's got loads of breakup bangers, and that is a thing. They're country radio gold. There are tracks on there that also show off his songwriting and also the incredible range of his voice. He can definitely sing and he can definitely write songs. I'm so interested to learn more about how growing up around Canada's Great Lakes, though, has influenced him, because it's an incredible place. And also what city life in Nashville, now he's moved there, has taught him. This is Josh Ross. I'm very excited to welcome to Country Roads an artist that I love. His music is brilliant. Josh Ross.
What's going on? Glad to be here.
I was a bit nervous when I saw your name because I have a radio show as well.
Okay.
There's 2 names I really struggle with, which is Bailey Zimmerman and Josh Ross.
Hey, that works out well. We're partners in crime sometimes, so that's funny. No, I've always said like I always make people say it 5 times fast.
Really?
And then I teach them that if you just go Josh Ross.
Yeah,
it's easy.
Yeah, okay.
You do a little pause.
Josh Ross.
See?
Josh Ross. So we say Josh Ross.
Right.
That's a problem. Josh Ross.
You got it.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it.
So I just need to speak to you directly to get it.
And then if you really can't get it, I just tell people just to say JR, and JR works.
JR. Yeah, oh, nice. Yeah, Thomas Rhett, TR, JR,
yeah,
Josh Ross.
There we go.
It's so great you are here, and you've got loads of fans. You've got 2 sold out shows in London, which is really exciting. I generally, when people come from Canada and America, they don't have much time here, but I saw you had like quite a bit of time in Glasgow recently.
Yeah, well, we just, we got in yesterday, and I'm trying to just spend as much time as I can. Like when I'm here, it's always hard because we want to explore around and we want to do different things. And then it's like, oh, but we can add this work thing on and that thing. And, but no, it's not honestly that far of a trip. Everybody makes it seem like it's like so far. And for me, it was like, I don't know, 7.5 hour flight. It's not that terrible. Just powered through the day yesterday, had a quick nap, and now I'm feeling good.
Yeah, you said to me before we started, you've been awake for 36 hours or something?
Yeah, yesterday I stayed awake. Technically, when I went to bed last night, it was 36 hours, roughly.
Wow.
But that's how I make myself so tired that my reset, like I have to sleep.
Yeah.
And then once you do that and then you wake up, it's like, oh, it's a regular day. So I woke up this morning, I'm like, went to the gym for a little bit, feel back in the routine. So.
Nice, man. Is it like, so I've looked up where you grew up and you love the great outdoors as well, but is it amazing to you getting to see all these cities, traveling a lot? Is that something you did a lot as a kid, or?
No, I mean, my parents, I was fortunate growing up that, outdoors, like you said, was a big part of it, but we never really like traveled a ton. We would go to Florida. I think we went to Florida once, went to Disney, when I was like 8 years old. Other than that, like that was like a major family trip.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was like I had family in California, so I would go visit them. Family in Bar Harbor, Maine, which is on the East Coast of America. I would go visit them. But other than that, it was more like stay in Ontario, where I was from. My parents have like an RV, like a trailer on like a lake further north. So that was like always my summertime was in mostly outdoors. So I've learned to like appreciate like coming to these different places. And I think that, like we kind of touched on it, but in general, like, there's artists that love to travel and then there's ones that don't. And I didn't get to travel a ton as a kid. So I think like I really am lucky now to do it. And I try to take advantage of it as much as I can.
Nice. Normally on Country Roads, we kind of work chronologically. So we start, when you're a kid, but we're going to go backwards with you because I'm so fascinated about Nashville.
Okay.
And you live there now.
Yes.
But I read the story that when you first moved, you slept in your car in Red Door, like a bar.
Right by the bar. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. So I didn't sleep at the Red Door parking lot. I mean, no. So my car was up the road from Red Door. There's a publishing company called Sony ATV where their publishing's at.
Is it Music Row? Is it who you were?
Basically, yeah. Yeah. Wow. And I would keep my car there most of the time. And then, I would stay there for 3-4 days and then go to somebody's house and shower, freshen up, whatever, or stay, or I'd go back home. Like a lot of people don't realize that when I first started coming to Nashville, I would come until I ran out of money. So like sometimes that was 4 or 5 days, sometimes it was 2 weeks, and then I would go back. Luckily had a friend that was my boss at the time in the construction world, and he would allow me to take these trips and then come back and make money with him for a moment of time, and then eventually he was fed up with it. And but yeah, no, the car was a staple early on. So
that
cool.
is crazy. So you literally, I mean, was it all through the year? So when it was really cold, when it was really hot, it was.
I mean, the nice part about Nashville is it's never like super cold. Like in the winter, like right now, it's a little warmer than here. And then they'll get maybe like 4 or 5 days where it's like below freezing in a row cold. But this was more in the summertime. I remember it was like summer to fall. So not terrible.
And what it's funny, isn't it? When you sort of have the success that you had, it's like you sort of romanticize about those days. But were there any times during that you were like, this is not going well. I don't want to do this anymore?
It's funny. I didn't really like think about it. Like we talked about it actually a little bit earlier today, and it's just interesting to like at that time you're just trying to figure it out, and it doesn't feel like you're doing anything wrong. You're just trying to like what do I have to do? Who do I have to meet? Where do I record? And I remember being at like Red Door, which is the bar that I'd go to and meet people or losers, and you'd be in there and you would hear, oh my gosh, the certain writers is in the bar, and you'd like try to purposely bump into the person and apologize and then be like, oh, I'm Josh, and like, and I honestly would do that, or like, buy somebody a drink or whatever it was. And I was just so focused on like meeting people that it didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong. I think the only part for me that was like a little scary was, obviously being Canadian, moving to the United States. It's like, it'd be the same as coming here. Like I couldn't just go get a job to make money. So looking at the bank account, I think was the only thing that I was ever like this is kind of stressful. Fun story that actually a lot of people don't know is when I in 20, it had been pre-COVID, I had moved in with a guy from River House. His name's Zeb Bluster. He's a manager of like helps with like the Luke Combs team and all that kind of stuff. And I had moved in with him just before COVID had happened. And that's what I remember being like basically out of money at that time. And I forget who it was. There was another artist that had framed a dollar bill and said this is like their first dollar that they ever made. And I took a dollar bill out of my wallet and I framed it. And I said, this is hopefully not my last dollar. And it's somewhere still to this day. And like it was in a garbage bag in a frame. I had moved and it cracked, but I still have that dollar bill somewhere. But yeah, it's just cool to like think about and look back on.
That must have been so hard because I spent a lot of time in Nashville, particularly at Red Door as well. Yeah. I mean, it cracks me up. The little skeleton under the little hole they have
on the floor. Yeah,
when you have to look in that hole, it's just like, so hard. But there's a lot of like, especially as a new artist or new writer or new musician, there, like you have to project like this, even at that level, like the success. You can't, it must have been really tricky for you in those bars. Like if you're checking your bank account, that was there any? It must have been hard. Like also being from Canada, like
you're just trying to be smart. I mean, the nice part about even 4, 5, 6 years ago is drinks weren't as expensive in Nashville and all that stuff. So you were getting a whiskey and Coke for like $3.50 or $4.50, US, where now they're probably $7 or
downtown.
Downtown's
like $12.
$12, $14.
It's crazy.
When you felt rich, you go down to Broadway. So you go down there. But Yeah, no, there's definitely a weight on that, but I think that's, it's like you just try to figure it out. I think that's always been my thing is like when it was bad, it was like, okay, what do I got to do and go meet the right people or figure out how to go make some more money. And I mean, that led me into building furniture and selling that on Facebook Marketplace and, just finding different ways to like literally just make money and be able to stay. I think I didn't want to go back home.
Yeah, and so who were you sort of writing with in those early days? Like you sort of come to town for a few days or weeks at a time. Any people you started working with?
I mean, one of my best friends still to this day, and he wrote one of my songs called "Trouble" that did really well, and he's on a bunch of new songs on the record. And we just had a writing treat. But Mason Thornley, he was like my third or fourth write in town. Ended up just being a great friend. He introduced me to other songwriters, but like he was one of the people. I think he's the only person that I started out with that I've like stuck with writing. Okay. I've met a lot of other like great people along the way. Brad from High Valley has been phenomenal to me. And, not to shout out too many people, but like Joe Fox and certain people that have come along the way that, I really do now lean on. But yeah, it's in those early days, it's like, you would say yes to everything and like every write, and it was like speed dating, and you'd get in the room and you look at each other, and sometimes within 45 minutes I'd be like, this is the most terrible day of my life. Like, or like I remember, not to like blab on too much, but like I remember like having this write with this guy, and I was in a relationship at the time. I wanted to like write like this love song. I had like this great idea, and then he comes storming through the door and he's like, oh, my freaking girlfriend, this and this, she just dropped me off. And he was just like totally pissed off and sits down. He's like, well, what do you want to write? And I'm like, I guess we're not writing a love song today. So it's like, but it's just like those moments early on were always like, to me, always so funny and just like trying to figure out how Nashville navigated. So
it's I mean, I've written loads out in Nashville, and it's a special kind of torment when you're stuck in a room like with someone that you're just not on the same page with.
I've gotten better at saying like, I don't think this is going anywhere. Or
in the middle of the session, you just walk out.
I don't walk out, but I think I like try to reevaluate the idea or be like, is this as good as we think it is? And like try to fix it, I guess would be the best way to say.
I've got a friend, she wrote with I won't say who, very big writer, and they're about an hour in, and he just went, this isn't going anywhere, this song. And he literally just got up, picked up his bag, walked straight out.
I've had writes where, I mean, not to name names, but I've been sitting in the writing room early on and, had somebody look at me and he's like, I don't know what we're doing, man. We're not trying to cure cancer. So I'm like, oh, this is how you feel about, he's like, it was that painful for him. And I was like, okay. So, I mean, you get different people that are really, really polite. They'll, go through the whole write. And then you have other people that they're not there to waste their time for sure.
So what do you think he meant by that? Were you trying to write an idea that was too deep? Is that what he was saying? Or?
I forget what it was. I think I had like an idea. I try to bring a lot of ideas. So we were probably writing one of my ideas. I think he had a melody and we had a couple words. I maybe didn't like the words. He's like, okay, we'll come up with something better. We couldn't land on something. And then he was just like, I don't know what we're doing here. It was like, and you're like, and shoot.
Do you wonder if, because I have this sometimes being British, do you ever feel like being Canadian, sometimes people, like if they're real country Nashville, I don't want to make it, I'm not trying to say anything wrong thing, but like, was it ever like, I know what I'm talking about, I don't think you do because you're Canadian and living.
No, I think I've always been so fortunate that one, like I have so much background, like coming to the United States that I like understood the Southern culture, whether that be through like the racing stuff that I did growing up but also there's just like, it's not that different than Canada. Like maybe language a little bit or spelling, like we spell stuff with U's and like color and all that stuff. And people are, confused on that. But in regards to like what we did growing up and the things we do, it's quite similar.
I get the impression I haven't written with you, but you're such a good songwriter because your name is on every song, obviously.
Right. Try to.
No, but like, I think there's some artists that I meet and you just know that they're in the room. Mm-hmm. Whereas, particularly your song, Nobody from Nowhere.
Yeah.
Which I think is just like, so well written, that song. The sort of turn of phrase, how the end of the chorus, how you...
I appreciate that.
What was that like writing that one?
I actually had the melody. I remember kind of just beating along, and I've always wanted to like tell it's very hard to like tell your story, but not make it like super sappy or like, I'm better than anybody or any of that. Like I tried to be polite with it, I think was, the thing. And that was just a really cool day. I remember we started the idea, we had the first chorus done, and we kind of always like listen back before we write like the second verse.
Yeah.
And I remember like getting emotional listening to it and just like it was my story. Like we, the dog in the front seat and the car, like all that was very true to me on my trips. And my mom probably, I mean, she still is so worried about me no matter what I'm doing. She tried calling me like 5 times yesterday just to make sure.
UK's dangerous place.
That's what I mean, so far it's been good. Don't want to jinx anything, but no, it's cool to be able to write stuff. And I think I'm getting a little better at that as I'm getting older, is like, make it, some of the life stuff is okay to talk about. I really didn't want to talk about my life too much. I wanted to talk more about the relationships I was in, or the moods I was in, or the parties that I was at. And I think now that I'm starting to like learn what that's meant to me in my actual life, I'm like able to talk about, the feelings and the journey and all that kind of stuff. So.
And it's funny because that's the song I gravitate to the most out of it. Cool. I love your song. I love the sort of poppier, more radio.
It's crazy. We were actually I was going to name the record "Nobody from Nowhere" originally.
Really?
And then I just felt like that song is a more of a niche. Like you kind of got to find that song and actually listen to the words for it to mean something. Where like a song like Later Tonight, I just felt like it was like an overall, like grabs kind of more people. But yeah, originally I wanted to call the record "Nobody from Nowhere." So
I'm still deluxe.
Cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, some sort of version. There's something there.
We're going to get on to Burlington a bit later, Burlington where you grew up. But I presume that song is kind of about that in a way.
Yeah,
but
totally.
I looked at the Wikipedia. There's a lot of famous people from Burlington.
Jim Carrey.
Is he? I didn't see that one. Is he from there? Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Never met him.
I thought that'd be the first one. That was my mom's boyfriend in high school.
No, come on.
Yeah.
No.
That's why I only know that. Yeah. Wow. 9th grade. Yeah.
Your mom's boyfriend in high school was Jim Carrey.
Before, I think he moved to Toronto in like the 10th grade, and then started his journey. He was already like kind of doing like little skits and stuff while my mom was dating him. I could only imagine how cool my mom was if she was dating Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Did she dump him? Do you know?
I don't know fully what happened. I know that he was looking after his family. I think he had a lot of like family stuff that he was looking after, and then moved away. So I'm not sure what happened. I don't ask.
Wow.
I don't think I want to know too much about all that.
Yeah. You've never met him though?
No, I have not. No, no.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. Those early days in Nashville, I mean, I know you've just got a new place out there as well, I think, and you've got like 4 or 5 acres. You've got fishing ponds,
little house, yeah.
How does that, that must be amazing for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've always just wanted, again, it's like, how do I figure out how to get a house someday, And then you get a house and then you're like, okay, it's not that you want like more, but it's like, okay, for me, it's like, how do I keep this? How do I keep this house? And figure, and I've been so grateful. And yeah, it's just so cool to have a place that I call home. I'm very proud of my actual home and house and my dogs and the pond. And those are my happy things. Like I go home and I cut grass for 4 hours and I'm in the happiest mindset ever. So yeah, I'm super blessed.
So you have 2 dogs, is that right?
I do. Yep. Paxton and Rio. So yeah, the greatest.
So did Paxton come with you from Ontario? No.
No. So I had gotten Paxton when it was during COVID, basically.
Oh wow.
So he was taking the trips with me and would drive 12 hours in the truck with me, and yeah, he was great. So yeah, he was good. And then Rio's the new addition. He's about a year old. He'll be almost a year old. And he's like a duck hunting dog. So I'm training him for that, which was like a new thing that I really want to get into this winter.
Because I saw obviously fishing is massive for you, isn't it?
Yes.
So you got your own pond.
Yeah.
Pond in the UK means something a bit different. Like pond is like an upgrade from a puddle for us. It's sort of quite small. Yeah. But pond for you, I imagine, is quite a big.
Yeah. It's about half acre or so. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good size. Yeah.
Do you put the fish? Did it come with it?
Yeah, I put some fish in it. So I like stocked it last October, and then actually just before I left to come here, I had a guy comes in. He brings like little bait fish and fills the pond up so that they can continue to grow. And it's like a little passion of mine for sure.
Because your dad was a pro fisher, is that right?
He would fish in tournaments and stuff. He never I don't think he made like money off of it. Okay. I think he like placed and maybe got some prizes. I think he won some like patio sets or something like that. It was like, but yeah, no, that was his big. He raced motocross for a lot of years. He got quite hurt and then got into the fishing when he kind of like met my mom. And they did that for a lot of years. So
has your dad fished in your pond yet in Nashville?
Yes. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
That must be such a full circle moment.
Oh, it is.
You've made enough money to buy this amazing place.
Right.
You've got your dogs, you've got your dad there. I mean, and I imagine you touched on it earlier, but your parents were sort of quite worried when you first moved. Well, when first started making trips and stuff.
I mean, mom probably more worried about me in regards to like mental health and how am I doing and, finding the right person in my life, hopefully, and, all those kinds of things. Dad more worried about like, what the heck are you doing? Go get a job. I'm not paying for anything, so go figure it out. And yet, I'm grateful. My parents are so different when it comes to that stuff. Like my mom is the one that's like, go explore the world, and she'd be, the one walking up and down the street here a million times, like walking in every shop. And then I have my dad, who's just like very head down, works hard, very blue collar, and I had like the perfect balance of that from both of them. So,
but that support, there's a common theme. It's a really common theme, it seems, on this podcast, is that every artist seems to have had a really great family, like, supporting them.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you got support from both. Because
totally.
I've got 3 kids, and it's like, I sometimes hear myself, the things I say, I'm like that boring dad. It's follow your dreams, but make sure you go to school. But it's really important.
I had both. Yeah. And I'm very lucky. Like I said, mom was very go follow your dreams. Dad was like, go get a real job. And it all worked, it's worked out great, and it's so cool. I mean, no family's absolutely perfect, but in regards to having 2 parents that I can call at any time and ask them something or rely on them, it's been great.
And your mum was more the music sort of pusher, is that right? It's not pusher, it sounds awful. Sorry, but you know what I mean?
No, she's pushy with music. 100%. I think my dad is just like a very reserved person in general. Like he's not one some like speak out on anything, where my mom is the one to be like, this is cool. This, she's very selective on music and whatever it is. And my mom always has music on in the house, always.
But in terms of because you were quite late to music, because we'll get into it in a second, but sport was kind of your thing. Yeah. But was you sang a lot as a kid though? You're just singing, is that right? Or?
I would sing for fun, more as like a joke, or make funny voices, like copy somebody else or whatever it was.
Sounds a bit Jim Carrey-like to me.
Yeah. and then I would go to karaoke when I got older in high school, or we'd go to the bar or whatever it was, and I actually sing a song, and people would be like, oh, that's really good. But I was playing football or whatever sport it was, and just didn't take it seriously at all. Yeah. So
I really want to get to that in a second, but you touched on, you said about relationships, and you've got a lot of breakup songs, and a lot of relationship songs, and particularly Single Again.
Yes.
Which, the story behind that, it's so funny. I'm an artist, I'm a songwriter. I know how true some stories are, or trying to find the truth in a story. Yeah. But the one from that is a girl from your hometown you met in a bar in Nashville.
She's from Ontario, Canada. Yeah. Wow. And she was in Nashville. I just saw her at there's a bar called Losers.
Yeah.
Walked in there. She was in there. I got all excited that she was there. I was like, oh, finally, all these years later.
Was she the one?
Here's my chance. I don't think she was the one, but in that moment after 6 or 7 drinks, you're like, she's the one. And, went up to her and, just bought her a drink. And then she's like, Josh, I have a boyfriend. I'm like, and then we just caught up quick, and then I remember walking away because I had 6 or 7 drinks, and I was like, hey, let me know if you're ever single again.
Nice. Did you actually say that?
Yeah.
That is so cool.
And then I remember walking away and be like, it's kind of a cool concept. And I immediately opened my phone up, put it beside it, and didn't write that song for, I think that was probably 2021, 2022. And I didn't write that song until, I don't know, 2 years ago. So,
and does she know that song's about her?
I would think so. Okay. She hasn't said anything. We don't talk.
Is she single now?
No, she's married and kids now. So I just leave it.
Okay, but if she's single again, no.
There's been a lot of jokes about that. So I'm like, no,
I don't want to get in trouble.
Let her be happy, and no, it's good. Everything works out for the right reasons.
Because this podcast is about the places that have made you who you are. Yep. And what was it like growing up in Burlington, Ontario? What was it like in the house?
Yeah, so I was born in Waterdown, Ontario, and I lived there till I was 4-ish, and then we moved into the city. My brother and sister honestly just needed, they wanted to get them into a better school, more of a community, more of a people around them, public transit, all that kind of stuff. And so we moved there. I was still very fortunate that where I was born is only 20 minutes, 15 minutes west of Burlington. So, I would still get to go there, go hiking. Me and my dad would hike all the time growing up. That was our favorite thing. And so I was still able to do a lot of outdoor stuff, along with now being a smaller city, go to a proper, school. There's lots of kids in my class. So I felt like I was one of those kids that was very blessed with a balance. And then come, school would be, or school would finish up for the year. My mom technically works in the school calendar system. So she would have the 2 months off in the summertime. And they had the trailer north. So I get to go to the RV trailer, and I'd spend most of my summer on a lake, and literally would go down to the water at 7 or 8 a.m. and I wouldn't come back up until it was dark, and I would have a terrible sunburn. And but just like so lucky that I truthfully had a really big balance. And on top of that, my dad was like the fishing and getting to play lots of sports, and just a lot of things now that I realize like have translated into who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And like everybody always asks like, what's country in Canada? And I'm like, there's, I got to do so much more than people realize in regards to outdoors and enjoying that.
Because I've looked at some pictures, it is so picturesque. I mean, the amount of water as well, because it's quite close to Niagara Falls, is that right? But
north, yeah. So like all the Great Lakes, I mean, there's thousands of little lakes, and we bounce around and fish different things, and like I said, go hiking and kind of do those activities, and hunted a little bit, but not like a ton. That wasn't like my dad's thing. That was more of like family, friends, and friends of mine. But yeah, just lucky that like to have that as the balance to like being in the city, and kind of having a kind of a city life too, where it's a little bit more like commotion, and got to learn to appreciate both, but also got to learn like what I liked and didn't like from both. So
yeah, it's funny. Like I really saw you sort of come alive. We talk about the great outdoors of that.
Yeah.
So do you just absolutely love being out in nature?
Yeah, I think I've really reverse to when I first moved to Nashville. I think the city side of me was like all about the city. And then once you're doing that a lot, and, a lot of commotion, or like, we're traveling lots and seeing lots of people, and to some degree, it's like a social battery, I think. And then there comes a point where it's like, okay, how do you recharge that? And I really found that for me, it's just like being alone and fishing, or with the dogs, or whatever that is, just doing something outside. Like I'm just very happy to be outdoors. And especially in the last 2 years, I've really found that that's what saved me as a person. So,
and those fishing trips with your dad, those early ones, those hiking things, was there lots of wisdom he kind of passed on, or would you just sit in silence and fish? How did it work?
So, honestly, it's funny to think about. It's cool, those questions you ask, because I don't think about them. We would sit for, I don't know, 5-6 hours and probably not say one word to each other.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But like, you got a fish on, you'd like talk about it, and then you'd get back to fishing. It's like not a ton. I mean, there was things that we would talk about. He'd probably vent about my mom driving him crazy, and I'd vent about some girl or something or whatever it was, or but always just so lucky to have that, and I guess learn the power of like the silence, just like enjoying some quiet space. And I've been just fortunate to get parts of that back. So,
what was the biggest fish you guys caught?
We were always into bass. He had caught like a really lot. They call it like northern pike, like a pike fish. He had one on the wall that was mounted. It was like a 28 pound, so it was pretty big. It was like large. But we always were more bass. It's like 4 or 5 pounds. They're not like crazy, but they're like great. Like we call them like fighting. The way they fight as a fish, it's really cool to catch them. They jump out of the water when you catch them and stuff. So
that's so cool. I can really visualize that. Like I said, I looked at the sort of scenery. It looks amazing. I can really see you there with your dad. Just
it's cool.
Just fishing.
Yeah.
So you're doing that with your dad, but then in the house, was your mum playing music a lot, or was your dad?
My mum was the one that controlled the music in the house.
Controlled the music.
Yeah. Dad has no say in regards to what got played on the radio or what CDs went into the CD player.
So what kind of thing,
actually at all. Now that I think about it, like I apologize, Dad. He had no say in what got played. In the truck, when it would be just like me and him driving around, he would put on what he wanted to put on.
Yeah.
But in regards to in the house, Mom was like Bruce Springsteen, U2, like that.
So quite rocky stuff.
Yeah, more rock based from that. And then my dad was more of like the Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Cinderella. He introduced me to some country music. That was more one of his good friends is really what got me into country music.
Okay.
But I just got to listen to a lot of everything. And then having the brother and sister that are 10 to 12 years older, they're 18 and 20 going to the club. And I'm 8 years old at home listening to Akon and Snoop Dogg and, stuff that was like so inappropriate. But I just got like so much of everything. Yeah. Which is really, really cool.
So just because you mentioned Akon, obviously you have a song with him.
Yeah.
That must be so weird for you. Like you're listening to him as a kid and then singing with him when you get older. Is that all weird?
Super, super cool. Yeah. And I think that was, again, it was just like, how do I figure that out? Like how do I rewrite an Akon song? How do I put it out? And then the option came of like, can we maybe figure out if he can just listen to it and see what he thinks? And we figured that out. And shout out to Kenzie, who's my day-to-day manager, and the rest of my team, and Chief Simon, everybody. Like when I have like a little, like a dream or like something that I think about doing, we're really good at trying to figure that out. And yeah, it's awesome. So full circle.
It's amazing. What do you say when you sort of, did you actually get to meet Akon?
Yeah, we got to do a music video together, which was like so cool. He's just everything I thought he was going to be, whether it be like, he likes to party, have fun. Obviously, like through his music, you could tell, but is also like so respectful and, looked after everybody that was around us that day. And oddly, not that he has to at all, but will text me randomly being like, hey man, just checking in, or
that's cool.
I'm in town or whatever it is. And just to have that relationship is pretty cool because there's very few artists that I've spent a lot of time with that do that. So
yeah. I think it's really important, that thing, like artists supporting other artists, like even just checking in, because it can be quite lonely sometimes.
I think, 100%. Yeah. Everybody, thinks that, like the lonely, it's an interesting career. And I'm starting to see like, obviously there's so many awesome benefits, but there are moments where you're like, how come I didn't get invited to this Halloween party or whatever it is? And it's because the 5 other parties they've invited to you to, I'm not around. So then it's like, there is moments where the loneliness happens for sure.
Especially touring because you'll be going away every weekend.
You're just gone. Right? Yeah. And it's hard. It's just a different lifestyle to learn, I think. And then, trying to like find the balance and maintaining friends and relationships. And you really start to see who your true friends are and all that kind of stuff too. So. Yeah.
And it's funny, isn't it, when you've sort of strived so long, and it sounds like your early days in Nashville, you were really fighting for it.
Yeah.
But once you get to kind of point like you are, you've made it. In a lot of people's eyes, you've made it. And I know you've got it's a long way you want to go. I understand that, but learning that when you get to that point is really hard because like you think I'm going to get to that point and everything will be all right, and it never will be.
Other parts get different, more. Yeah, other parts just get more difficult, or it's just again, it's just life change as everybody's life develops. Mine just develops in a different way, and I'm so blessed. It's fun. It's cool. It's always something new. I think that for me, that's what I love because I just get very bored of things. So I'm finally, I found a job that changes every day. So that's exciting.
And is that, when you're on the road, is that kind of, do you love being on the road because of that? Is that something you love doing?
Yeah, I mean, I love playing shows and I love being on the road. I think I'm learning to find like a healthier version of being on the road. Burnout's a real thing, and drinking and partying and trying to play shows and do all of the things is a lot. I think learning now to pick and choose when and mix in workouts and, don't go out every night after the show and stuff like that I've tried to get a little better at that.
It's hard. I'm a few years older than you, and it's every artist who is lucky enough to be able to do it for long enough goes through that. Like I think, the backstage, and when you support these big artists, you see they're not all just getting wasted.
No, you can't. No, you can't. No, when you start playing, upwards of over 100 shows a year, it's like, you like actually can't to a degree, at least the way that I was partying and having fun.
Go on.
No, I mean, there's a version of, hey, here's 5 drinks and, but then there's nights where it's like, you go to play a show and you go have 20 drinks and it's like, you can't do that every night. It just doesn't work. So, I'm very lucky to have an awesome band and an awesome crew that we've all got to go through that together. And there are nights where we still have those nights, but we're just better, I think, at picking now when those are. So,
have you kept the same band pretty much? Or?
Jake is original. The other guys have been about a year, and then some newer folks too. And that's been probably one of the hardest parts is like figuring out like this is my family on the road. Like if I have a partner at home, or if I do, or whatever it is, I would maybe get to see that person 50, 60, 70 days a year. I'm with these people 250 days a year.
Yeah.
So like building that has been like one of the most challenging things. And, you can build a friendship with somebody, but they might not be the best player. And then, you obviously have to like say goodbye, and it's not necessarily.
Has it happened to you, exactly that?
Oh yeah. And I've always been like the one, I don't know. I think it works different for other artists in general, but like some artists will get their manager to fire people, and I just never felt like that was right. Like if this is my friend and somebody I truly care about. But yeah, sometimes like the playing isn't the fit anymore, or you've taken a different direction, or
we had exactly that on our sort of third tour.
Yeah,
the bass player was my like best friend.
Yeah,
and it was honestly, I get really sad thinking about it. It was a horrible conversation.
Yeah,
horrible.
Yeah,
but you have to do it yourself. You have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, then it's like, okay, how do I separate? You separate the business from friendships. And it's like, okay, if I want to keep growing, I need to make these changes. And hopefully you do have a good enough friendship with that person that, you can go, like, they respect you for it.
Yeah.
And they aren't bitter about it. They're not going to like go run around town being like, Josh fired me because of this. It's like, that's not how it was.
Yeah,
but
my friend's okay, but once he gets drunk, he does bring it up every time.
It's like, you fired me.
Yeah, it's really quite painful. I really want to chat about your sports, because your life could have gone in a completely different direction. Like, really good.
Yeah.
Can you sort of just paint the picture of, because you were really good at sports as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, I would say here's the thing I would say about sports. Like, I was always, like, what's that saying? Jack of all trades, but master of none, or master of one, or whatever it is.
Yeah, master of none, yeah.
Yeah, and I felt like sports was like that. Like, I was good enough to make every team, be one of the better players on the team, but never was like, this is exactly what I want to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just never... It was like, okay, it's cool to play football, so I'll play football. Okay, now I'm good at football. Oh, I can get a scholarship. Okay, I'll do that.
But sorry, because a lot of English people won't understand.
Football.
Yeah, no, but sorry, that obviously, of course. Yeah. But I mean, how big to get a scholarship to go to college? You've got to be really good, haven't you?
Yeah, I was great. I mean, I was like, very lucky. I was great at testing. Like, I ran track and field. I think I was like in the top 10 in Canada for like running, like sprinting, and I was very athletic, like very, very, very fortunate,
and ridiculously humble as well. You just dropped that in the top 10 in the country. Like.
No, but it was great. Like, I remember being like it was like such a cool feeling. You have all the different colleges out, you're getting recruited, you're like, you're the guy, but even though I was, say, the new guy and very excited, there was always, now looking back, there was always a part of me who was like, do I really want to do this?
Really? Wow.
And I think that's why once I got hurt, it was so easy for me to be like, it wasn't easy, because I think I miss the guys, I miss the locker room, I miss like being together. I think that's what I have with the band now on the bus, and that's replaced what I had with the team. But the easy part for me was just like, okay, I found something new, music. I'm just gonna go do that. And everybody's like, well, you're just done, and I'm just like, yeah. And I think I kind of maybe didn't want to do it as much as I thought I did.
Do you know why? Was it just, and that's really impressive.
Yeah, I think sometimes I just played because I was good at it. And it was like it was a social thing. I was in a cool friend group. I got to be on the team, got to go to the bars, like whatever it was.
But the actual playing you didn't love, being on the field.
There's parts of it I loved, but getting up at 6 and going to practice till 10 and then going to class till 5, and then coming back and practicing again, and then doing game film till 11 p.m. And for not being a complete diehard, like, I need to do this, like music, like I can do music 20 hours out of the day, and that's how I know that I finally found my thing. For me, football at that time was just like, I'm just doing it because I'm doing it. I didn't know what that meant. Like, I didn't know, like, I could have gone and played in this, hopefully in the CFL, or maybe I would have had the opportunity to. You're right. Like, I could be in a totally different place where, like, I was playing professional sport and I maybe wasn't completely in love with it.
That's amazing.
Which is crazy.
So you get this injury. It's your ankle, is that right?
Yeah, my right ankle twice. So I fixed it in my first year, came back, and then did it again.
Wow. But was it in the rehab time that the sort of music, sort of songwriting started? Is that
it started really end of high school. So the first time I hurt my ankle was in high school, but I didn't have surgery until my first year of like university college. And then I had the surgery, borrowed a guitar, was playing the guitar. Actually kind of full circle cool moment this past year. I had one of my friends come out to the show when we were opening for Jelly Roll, and he brought me the guitar that I learned on.
No.
Which is cool, because he was my roommate in college.
And did you know he had that guitar still?
No. He just showed up and gave it to me. I was like, oh, this is super cool. And which is awesome, because like that's the guitar I learned on, and I played like the same 2 songs over and over again, and just was just, again, figuring out how to play YouTube videos, like whatever it was. But yeah, that was the time that I started to, learn chords to the guitar. I could only imagine how terrible but great I thought I was at singing at the time. But was like also figuring that out and trying to figure out my voice, because I think figuring out your voice is like the hardest thing. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people realize that, because they're like, just open your mouth up and sing. But like when you play cover songs for so long, or you have, people that you're inspired by, you tend to like lean into how they do it. And it took me a while to like actually really figure out me.
Yeah, I'm not trying to just butter you up, and if that translates, trying to be nice to you.
Okay.
Butter me up. Is that,
no, that's new.
Is that new?
I'm learning new terms.
Yeah, it's not trying to kiss your ass. Is what you'd say?
Yeah.
But I think that is genuinely only a problem for people who are really good at singing. Like my band partner, Chrissy, she can just imitate anybody.
Right.
Because her voice is amazing. Whereas there's some artists I know, probably like Jelly Roll, for example. I don't know him, but his voice, I would say, he's just Jelly Roll. He just sings like he sings. But you say you said you were almost terrible. I can't imagine you were.
It wasn't like terrible, but I learned how to like open up my voice, if that makes sense. Like if you were to listen to there is some early songs that like I don't mention and I'm not super proud of that are still out there.
They're up online.
They're still there, yeah. But there was no like upper register, like everything was sang like kind of how I talk.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't know about like opening up my voice and finding like all those things. And it's just, it's cool to see. Like, I mean, I'm very blessed. But the songwriting is really what helped me find my voice.
Yeah.
Because once you write a song, nobody else is saying it. If you're going to sing it, you're going to sound like you. And like, that's how I kind of figured out.
So obviously living in Nashville right now, I mean, do you ever get homesick for Canada?
I get like family sick. Like I miss my mom and dad. It's different. It's just an interesting time. I almost get emotional about it. But yeah, it's cool. Like I'm very lucky and miss them sometimes.
Oh. Is there anything kind of specifically like that you just can't get in the States though that you like maple syrup? No. Is that a thing or not?
No,
really?
I'm lucky. I mean, maple syrup's like not I like maple syrup. So I do miss that, but I can get that. I mean, I miss, some of my grandma's cooking, stuff like that. But like in regards to like product, not really. And it's all very similar.
Yeah, just the people.
Yeah.
I love that. That. Josh, thank you so much. Got some quick fire questions for you now because I know you have to go. You've got your show, as we're recording, you got your show, 2 shows in London coming up. So these are quick fire, just, one word or a sentence if you want.
Yeah.
So here we go. The place you've never been to but would love to visit?
Hawaii.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, never been.
Surfing? Would you surf?
I think I would. I don't know if I want to try. Like, I actually I've tried, but I feel like if I tried to actually and like did lessons, I would become obsessed with it. Yeah.
My wife did that recently. She was, I thought she was going to leave me for the surfing instructor.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't try it because then I'll be like, I'm going to do the surfing thing instead.
The strangest place you've ever written a song?
Oh my gosh. I'm ever wrote them on planes, showers. Probably. No, that's not strange though. I mean, in the back of that car, I wrote songs. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Really? In the back of the...
Actually, strange. I have a song called On a Different Night, and I wrote that song at Jason Aldean's, which is a bar on Broadway.
In the bar?
Yeah. The true story about that song is Mason and I wrote that song together, mostly all 3/4 of that song. We got there at like noon, and by like 2 a.m., they're like, hey, you guys got to leave. So we were having too much fun, and we actually wrote it without an instrument and just had like voice memos of it.
So you just sat at the bar on a table, just writing a song.
Yeah, like the na 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 na, and we just started filling it with words and turned into this whole. That's why, like, if you actually listen to the instrumentation of the song, it's literally 2 chords. It's just like the same chord, and it switches once.
As you got more drunk, it's just like 1 4 1 4.
Yeah. And that's probably the only time that I've woken up and been like, that I've wrote a song drinking and been like, wow, this is actually good. Because most of the time it's garbage.
You can't convince yourself. I didn't know. That's so cool. That is awesome. The place you feel most yourself?
Probably at home fishing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I love that. The place you'd most like to return to?
I'm excited to go back to Australia.
I bet they love you there.
Yeah, it's just cool. It's like coming here, right? It's like I get like the itch to go back. It's like I'll leave here and then top an extra. I'll be like, okay, when am I going to the UK again? Yeah. So
did you CMC? Did you do that? The festival?
No, we did the Riding Hearts last year in Australia. So
amazing. Yeah, great. My wife's Australian. So
okay,
I know
very cool.
Well. And then just lastly, the place that feels most like home to you.
Oh man, that's tough. The place that feels the most home. I mean, lately it's been my tour bus, my bunk, but no, just I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I feel it like I feel here's the other side of like being nervous on stage. I feel so calm on stage. Like it actually like puts me in like a very like grounded, happy. Like when I come off stage, I'm like that was my therapy. So I guess like I feel at home on stage, if that makes sense.
A lot of people say that, and it's and it's funny, isn't it? That we're so lucky to have that feeling.
Yeah.
We know what that feels like.
Yeah.
I sometimes feel like I wish that life could just be what it's like on stage, because it's just so simple. It's like you look out, everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Well, most people are happy.
Most people. Yeah.
Catch someone yawning.
The odd fight. The odd fight.
Yeah.
That's just entertainment though, so that's good.
Do you find a difference actually? Because like in the US to UK audiences, like generally I've heard we are a bit more quiet. Like, do you find that?
Yeah, listening. Yeah, you guys are listeners, which I as a songwriter, really appreciate, because it's like cool to, you'll like play a whole song and be like, do they like it? Do they not? Because everybody's like very focused. They'll sing some of the words, obviously. And then when it ends, everybody's freaking out. And you're like, oh, okay, it was good.
It was right.
Good. I learned that last time I was here, so that's good.
Amazing. Well, Josh, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I know you're really busy, so I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Love to have you on Country Roads.
Thank you.
Josh Ross.
Thank you so much. See you guys.
Josh is such easy company, a great guy to spend time with, and I just want to go fishing with him now. I wonder if he'll have me. Go check out his album later tonight if you haven't already, and he's doing a massive tour early 2026, so do keep an eye out for that. If you're enjoying these episodes, please share them with your loved ones and anyone who loves a bit of country. We want to keep them coming, but we really need your support to do that. So please like, comment, subscribe, or follow wherever you listen to us. You'd be amazed how much even just one like helps massively. We also have our Country Roads podcast playlist on Spotify, where we're building a really cool catalogue of all the songs mentioned in the show. It's great for a long drive, or if you're doing the chores around the house, and you can save it to your profile so it's always ready to go. Country Roads is a Spiritland creative production produced by Emma Roberts and presented by me, Ben Earl. I'll be back next Thursday. Hope you can join me then.